Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So Bruce Lee has been added, Shang-Chi has been added to the game file, so we can actually see all of his abilities, and his champion spotlight's actually out there as well. But I did want to check out his character model, and it does look quite good. Obviously not anywhere close as impressive as Mr. Negative Man. That lad has swagger, but still not bad nonetheless. Right, so we're going to be jumping to Kabam forums and going through Shang-Chi's champion spotlight and be breaking down his abilities, and I'll be commenting on what I think where he will land. Obviously this is just initial impressions, it's by way no definitive conclusions can be drawn by this. We need to see how he actually is in the game, and even once the champions get added to the game, it normally takes several weeks, if not months, to see exactly where they land and how useful they actually are. So let's start with Prestige. Prestige is quite high. I think it is toward the top end of the skill class. Anyhow, it's nothing game breaking, but it's not bad Prestige either. Obviously, we have skill class, so his basic abilities include slow, cleanse, unblockable, stun, and precision. So it does look quite good right there already. Has his wushu strikes, which basically is combo finishers, how you cut your combos, whether you do medium, 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 light, medium, medium, double light, medium, or medium, triple light, medium. The first important note is to recognize that medium and 4 lights do not activate any of the wushu strikes, and that might actually be key at times to set yourself up perfectly correctly. So keep in mind that medium followed by 4 lights will not activate any of your wushu strikes. So critical hits, because of Shang-Chi's damage comes from critical hits, he bypasses most armor and resistances that the opponent has against him. Quite cool. Weaknesses, critical hit punish. Sure. Let's go. So actual abilities on a maxed out 5-star. Critical hits grant 34.15 critical damage rating. For the rest of the fight, max 300 hits. And then on top of that, so if you get this at 300 hits, that would be like what, nearly 10,000 critical damage rating increase. So it is kind of stylage ability, basically, where the longer the fight lasts, the more damage you deal. You don't have to do anything special to access it, you just need to fight, land your critical hits, and yeah, the longer the fight goes, the more damage you deal. We can see how noticeable is that damage increase once he's actually in the game, but that is a very straightforward and a good ability for a champion. How? Why? Because it doesn't require you to do anything special. He's a champion that just naturally hits harder, harder, harder. It doesn't matter if you lose your combo, it doesn't matter if anything else happens, just keep the fight going and you're going to be hitting harder and harder. I like that type of abilities. So let's go to Wushu Strikes. All Wushu strikes start readied and can be performed by landing hits or striking into block with a series of specifically ordered attacks. Performing a Wushu strike unreadies it indefinitely for the rest of the fight, but you can kind of reset all of them later. We can talk about it. The last hit is guaranteed. Critical hit provides 1 chi charge and activates a bonus effect. So disarming strike, medium, the last hit cannot be interrupted, remove the opponent's unstoppable effects and inflict a slow debuff, reducing opponent's unstoppable and evadability accuracy by 100% over 5 seconds. For each readied wushu strike, slow won't trigger against natural class advantage. So this medium thing is very easy to access, and I like that because that means you can parry an unstoppable opponent, drop 2 mediums, inflict slow, and then you can fight like as normal. So since you do seem to have 4 of these strikes, disarming, cleansing, breaking, and pinpoint, it will mean that the slow duration's either 15 or 20 seconds, depending whether it actually counts this disarming strike as one of the readied wushu strikes or not. So either 15 or 20-second duration on that slow, and it's relatively easy to access, and we're going to read later that you can just drop a heavy to recharge all of your wushu strikes. So you can easily control all the fight if you choose to do so, remain in the slow, basically, mode on opponent. So that's quite good. So he will be fairly practical slow champion, I'd say. So let's go to the cleansing strike. Purify 3 debuffs, gain 1 cleanse passive for each readied wushu strike, lasting until this wushu strike is readied again. When a champion with cleanse is inflicted with the debuff, it's immediately purified. So this is quite good. Again, it's obviously nowhere near as great of a purification ability as, I don't know, Ghost, but it has the best of both worlds, kind of, because you remove the debuffs that you already have active on you, and then you basically can get up to 3 next debuffs that would be placed upon you removed. So given the fact that it is medium light medium, which coincidentally is 3 strikes, even with the worst RNG, you can technically use this guy against Biohazard and Freezer Burn and stuff like that. So that should be quite interesting, and definitely I'm quite curious about how easy it is going to be manage, spam, and abuse his debuff removal with the cleansing stuff, so on and so forth. So yes, quite good so far. Breaking the strike, medium, light, light, medium. The last hit becomes unblockable, striking into a block. Again, an unblockable buff lasting 1.5 seconds for each readied Wushu strike, and pausing during Shang-Chi's special attacks. Okay, so he can go unblockable for a while. I'm not sure how essential this is going to be for his base rotation, but, you know, it definitely has his upsides at times. Pinpoint strike, medium, light, 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 medium. So basically your regular combo. Inflict the stun debuff lasting a flat 0.65 seconds per each readied Wushu strike. So those are the abilities. I'm going to be honest, I like the first 2 the most by far. And then the last 2, I don't know how practical they would be. Which is kind of a shame though, because the longer combo, you kind of... We'll see. Anyways, have a lot yet to actually see how it transfers to the game. So perfectly timed blocks and dodges. Shang-Chi has short window of time and he can use perfect timing while performing a well-timed block or dodging an attack, granting him 1 chi charge. So this is going to be something that we need to practice. We don't have any clue how long that window is, whether it coincides with parry window or with the dex window, or it's going to be something different, but gaining chi charges is quite important to get a really max damage on your level 2s, and level 2s are the only way how to use your chi charges. We're getting there slowly but surely. First, we need to check out the heavy attacks. Heavy attacks gain a precision buff for each chi charge, increasing critical rating by 110 and over 15 seconds, max 4 stacks. All unreadied Wushu strikes are readied and personal stun effects on the opponent are removed. So it's fairly simple here as well. Basically throw heavy and you can use all your combos once again. And on top of that, you gain a precision passive, or sorry, precision buff, which obviously lets you land more critical hits and lets you hit harder. So far, it actually looks quite good and reasonably practical. So I do like that quite a bit. Important bit to this is going to be the reach on the heavy attack and the hit count and things like that, because if you can't stun opponents, then often you have a much harder time dropping your heavy attacks unless it has a good reach and you can use it to punish opponents' specials or their heavy attacks, and ideally be able to spam it in a corner as well to get these precision stacks active, because they are only 15 seconds, they do not last all that long. Landing this attack or strike, okay, so special one. Landing this attack or striking into block will perform the last Wushu strike used with equal potency. If no Wushu strike has been used, the pinpoint strikes performed. This is like neat, you can double dip on some of the utility from those Wushu strikes if need be, but I do not think this is going to be overly used special attack. Special 3, by the way, is absolute junk. I don't know why this is there, and it's somewhat pointless. So yeah, we're gonna ignore special 3 for most point. And special 2 is each hit is guaranteed critical hit, so that's already definite source for a decent amount of damage. Consume all chi charges, increasing the attack rating of this hit by 690 for each chi charge, so that means it's gonna be hitting like crazy. And all unreadied Wushu strikes are readied, so this is definitely the core rotation for Shang-Chi. Level 1, perhaps occasionally, if you need to like double dip on slow debuff or something. The level 3 is a waste, and only reason you should use it is probably if you accidentally push yourself to level 3 or get hit when you don't expect it. But yeah, level 2 is where the money is at. Signature ability. Critical hits deal a burst of 20% of hit damage as physical damage, so that basically flat out gives him some decent damage increase. Why not? So it's useful but not mandatory, I'd say. Shang-Chi can perform critical hits through the opponent's block. Personal abilities that trigger on critical hits will trigger through block. So it's a good situation where finally we have a skilled champion that does not necessarily need to be awakened or super high max sig, which unfortunately is kind of the case for most of the reworks these days, where we have Crossbones, who definitely wants to have like a super high sig as well, and then we have Kingpin, who wants to be awakened and high sig, so on and so forth. So yeah, at least this guy does not seem to be overly reliant on his awakened ability. Alright, synergy bonuses. This one is quite interesting for Shang-Chi. Dodging attack with perfect timing inflicts a falter passive, causing 100% of the opponent's attacks to miss for 2 seconds. Contact attacks bypass this falter and remove the effect. So it could have some interesting uses against like some projectile heavy special attacks. So yeah, I do like that. And there are a few champions who basically all of their hits are not non-contact attacks. So would be interesting to see how that affects. The bit for Mr. Negative I think is going to be fairly useless. With Killmonger, Shang-Chi starts the fight with 4 chi charges. This should probably be quite good in like quick questing scenarios where you're just gonna have a lot more damage on level 2 guaranteed. And then we have Iron Fist, Immortal Iron Fist. Each hit in all special attacks are guaranteed critical hits and gain a flat 35% personal armor break ability accuracy. So that's quite good. Iron Fist has been getting a ton of synergies. They just need to make him not suck as much, and he might be quite fun champion. Right, the Way of the Spider, bypass 20% of armor and resistances. Cool. This is quite interesting with Spideys, where you can gain cruelty buffs. Not too bad. The synergy members landing critical hits grants an additional 2% critical damage rating, max 100 hits, so that could give him even more damage as well, but that is about it. Nothing too special here. So overall, he looks good. Looks very good, actually. I like it a lot, and he has access to slow, and he does not have access to any damage over time effects, which is a very rare occurrence to skill class. So he kind of, I know, to a degree reminds me of Stealth Suit Spider-Man mechanics with the ability to fight against debuffs, shrug debuffs off, and get these cleanse passives. And yeah, I do look forward to playing with the guy. I think it is one of the more interesting skill characters released. And it all depends on his stats. It all really does depend on his stats. How tanky he is. Well, if he's going to be Hitmonkey type of fragile champ, then it's going to be very hard for him to be taken seriously by top end of this game's community. And obviously it all depends on his damage output and how well the kit comes together. But based on what I have read so far, I do like him quite a bit. I do think he's going to be a worthwhile addition to the contest. And again, exactly where he lies, obviously, we need to see him in action. But this month's characters, overall, I must say, have intrigued me more than pretty much anything released this year. These are the first 2 champions I'm quite eager to get my hands on. Both Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative. So, hopefully that actually translates to them being good and useful and fun champions to play. Let me know what you guys think about Shang-Chi, but yeah, you heard my thoughts, and drop a comment about that as well. I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about